Men don't care if society collapses. This is the point that we're at right now, and women have allowed this to happen because of their actions, the way they treat men, and the way that men are treated in society. A lot of this is also associated with the behavior of simps. Watch the end of the video to fully understand the implications of this, why so many people are now beginning to wake up, and how the future outlook is going to look for women, simps, men, and society going forward. And now let's just go ahead and jump into the first videos.
Gangbangers, pimps, all these men get bad raps in society. But you know who is the worst motherfucker in America? Is the one who falls in love easily because he creates a family that ain't shit. Let me tell you something about a simp. A simp will be around an immoral woman and expect all his friends and family to treat her like a queen. And that causes breakdown in society. A cake ass will be with a bitch you could never be proud of. And that motherfucker will look at his homie like his homie ain't shit. If his homie ever say, man, check your girl. One thing about a weak ass, he gets a pass because it seemed like he a nice guy. But really that motherfucker's presence around a whole bunch of other people will f up everything because he got a unchecked bitch on his side. And you know what people would say? Why he say bitch? Them the type of motherfuckers I'm talking about. I'm making a strong point about what's happening in the world and the word bitch get in the way.
This is why women love simps but won't date them. If a girl has any type of social media, she needs simps to fuel the ego. That's why you'll see girls constantly posting on Twitter and on here and on IG screenshots of guys talking to themselves in their DM. Like they're literally using the simps for content. And they won't admit this, but the simp makes them feel good. Wow, me just existing, me posting pictures of myself, he gives me validation and makes me feel full. But I've also seen videos where girls say, hey, you know that one guy who DMs you every day and he stops? Damn, like what's going on? What happened? It's like they almost feel like something's wrong with them when the simp stops. So when girls hear about my page defund simping, they'll go for the okie doke. What? A simp is just a guy that treats women well. You don't want a guy to treat a woman well? I'm like, no, girl, you don't treat simps well. They may get a double tap after their 20 fire emojis. They may get a thank you, you're so sweet, but they're not getting a date. They're not getting your time. At the end of the day, simps will always be used for attention and validation, and they'll never be seen as a lover.
You see, guys, a lot of the pain and suffering that we are currently going through as men, a lot of the growing pains is because of simps in society. Women would not be able to do anything if it was not for the simps that provided that enablement. All of these things, everything from women's empowerment to the way that men are treated, berated, and destroyed in Western society today, has occurred because of the evil simp. But let me make this very clear. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. Weak men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. What's happening right now is you have weak men who are beginning to realize that hell on earth is coming, and they are now looking for strong men to lead them. Let me go ahead and show you guys a comment from a simp. Now, this simp realizes that hard times are here. And this is a big boy. This is a big boy. And he responded, he left a comment on one of my videos, Angry Sama, I'm a simp, but I appreciate everything you do. And I responded, it's Sama, but I respect the respect. And actually, after this, he went and corrected it. He responded, fixed it, and he edited and spelled it correctly. The fact of the matter is that despite the fact that these men are simps, they realize that hell on earth is here. You have to understand that with a lot of women, however, who adhere to the whole women's empowerment thing, they will double down even as it works against their own ability to survive. What do I mean? Check this out. This comment is from one of the few regular female subscribers on the channel. It was from Scorpia, and she said, yes, please leave women alone, play and marry each other. And that was in response to discussing soft guy era, that men are walking away and expecting women to contribute to the relationship. And of course, there was a bunch of guys who jumped in. Joshua said, I see the wrinkles. This conversation isn't for you. And Op says, yes, leave poor women alone. If you can't afford a house by 30, then they can't afford to be a mother or deserve to be one. Like, how is a woman supposed to treat me right as a man if she can't even afford a house by 30? So immediately they just flip it back. And what women don't understand is the first thing they do is they go after a man's sexuality. They'll talk about how many, gay friends that they have and that they love gay people, but then they'll immediately start shaming a man, a heterosexual man, and attempting to tear him down and humiliate him by using a slur like that, by using gay as a slur, which is, I think, is absolutely a very disgusting thing. And women have to be called out for it when they do this, because it hurts a lot of innocent people. It really, really does, and it's a form of discrimination. So what she did right here is a very disgusting thing, and hopefully she will face some consequences. Granted, a lot of women do not face consequences for their for when they say disgusting things like this, because it really just furthers stigmas and stereotypes. But again, a lot of women like this, they will double down and they will hold on they will basically stay on that hill, and they will expire on that hill. On the other hand, you have to understand that simps have their own agenda. So as hell on earth is coming, these are weak men. So what are weak men going to do? They're going to go and try to find the strong. Be careful with simps, though, because simps are not loyal and simps are Judases. This is the reason why there must be a code of conduct, especially when you're dealing with men that are simps, because they will betray you easily. Guys, I just want to remind you to check out the Angry Guy Clubhouse, dive into exclusive podcasts, manosphere topics, and more. Free subscribers get full access to chat, videos, podcasts, and all blog posts. Paid subscribers unlock unlimited access to everything, including exclusive guides and blueprints for building wealth and thriving. Support the channel by becoming a paid subscriber for just $8 a month. Don't miss out. Click the link in the description to subscribe now and claim your free passive income blueprint. Now that men are finding their voice and we have the space to speak, let me make it clear. Simps are becoming the rage and the focus of a lot of men. Men are beginning to rage out when it comes to the simps. And, guys, these are solutions. Like I told you, when all of this started, we were in the problem phase. All right. Then we entered into the solution phase. Now we're in the conclusion phase, because all of these solutions are being put into operation. All right, placed into action. And now the direction of a lot of men is focusing upon the simps. And simps are very, very well aware that, it doesn't matter how big they are. Like that simp earlier, that's a big boy. That's one big, big boy.
Okay, so I'm going to show you how I do currently. So, grab a weight you're comfortable with. I'm going to do 5 reps each arm, up to 10. I'm going to put the opposite leg forward. I'm going to bring the arm that I'm going to be engaging with back to get a full stretch. Then I'm going to bring it up to my nose.
And guys, that's our simp right there. That should let you know that simps come in all different shapes and all different sizes. Now, what really separates simps from, men from real simps are men, because we were all once simps, are the men who choose to remain simps. But some men, they are so far gone that it is hard to remove themselves from that mentality. That's the guy that, basically called me Angry Sama and said that he's a simp, but he respects what I do. Because I've been telling the simps, get the hell off this channel. If you are a fucking simp, don't come around here. Do not come around here. Don't listen to the content. Get the fuck out of here. If you're a guy who does not want to change your ways, then leave. All right? I don't have to argue with you. Do not benefit from the content. Because I realize the simps, dudes who are talking shit to me, are some of my biggest supporters. You don't watch every single one of my videos. You don't watch 45 minutes of my videos and then critique it and complain, saying that all the videos are the same and blah, blah, blah. Bro, if you are complaining about this spot in the video, okay, and if you're complaining about all of my videos, you are so foolish that you don't realize you just told on yourself that you are watching all of my videos. You would not sit there and watch shit that you absolutely hate. You would not be consuming one video after another video after another video if you absolutely hated the content. All right, most of my top subscribers are not watching videos at the rates of these men. So clearly, they're looking for the knowledge. They're clearly looking. They want to know what's going on as well. But they are such simps that their conscious brain is telling them to simp, but their subconscious brain is telling them engage, because I want to understand what the hell is happening around as well. Guys, I'm telling you, you have to be careful with the simps. But at least we're beginning to see that at least some of the simps are beginning to fall in line, because hard times are here. Sadly, a lot of women will stay on that hill. They will nurture their ego. They will hold on tight to their ego, even in the depths of despair. And knowing they are wrong, they would rather stay on that hill and expire on that hill than ever say I'm sorry, than ever try to take any accountability. They will stay on that hill and mock men and attack men and shame men and claim that they are victims and gaslight. Because that's how, guys, you do not understand. I've learned my lesson when it comes to women. They will nothing, guys, they will basically, until the end of their final days, they will stay on that hill. Okay? I've seen women live in sewers. I've seen women end up in extreme states of destitution. And despite their extreme destitution, they will just claim that they are victims. They'll claim that they are victims, and they will never acknowledge the roles that they played in putting themselves in that situation. Because they will stay on that hill. That is how much a woman's ego means to her. That she cannot let go, that she can never be accountable, that she can never face consequences. It's not all women, but it's most women. It's 99.9%. I'm telling you. They'll blame someone else. You have to be very careful when you hear women, like, especially in the manosphere, trying to say, like, oh, talk about feminism, and because, like, and how they used to be, or blah, 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 because they're not actually apologizing for what they've done. They're not taking accountability for what they've done, or who they are, or who they supposedly were. No, they're deflecting and blaming other women, blaming men, blaming everyone else, but they're trying to make it look as though they have changed and repented when they have not repented. All right? You need to repent for your ways. Guys, if something ever came out about me, the only thing I would ever regret is any of the simping I have done in the past. That's the only thing I am truly ashamed of in my life, is simping. I don't give a fuck what anyone else wants to say about me. I don't give a fuck what any woman wants to say about me. The only thing that would breaks me is the simping I have done. And I repent to that. I repent to God. I pray for forgiveness, because it is something that shames me. But we are all one sis. So you better fucking repent. You better fucking repent. And I'm just letting y'all know. Okay? It doesn't hurt to put Sama on my name, especially Gen Z. If you're a simp, put Sama on my name, all right? If you are a Gen Zer, you better put Sama on my name. I'm just being very, very real with you, okay? It denotes respect. It really denotes respect, okay? If you do not respect your teacher, then who do you respect? Who do you really, really respect? So I'm just making that very, very clear. I'm making that very, very clear. A lot of women seem to think that, oh, there is power in aligning oneself with simps, and simps are so beneficial. Oh, simps are wonderful. We love simps. They're so full of shit.
Can we just abandon in general the idea that the word simp is a bad thing? Because I got news for you. Us ladies don't feel that way. The hottest thing that a guy can be is a simp for you. Simp doesn't mean weak. Simp doesn't mean that he's your little bitch. What it means is that he is so obsessed with you, enamored with you, would do anything for you because he cares and loves you so much. That's what a simp is. Anybody who told you, fellas, that we wouldn't want that is lying to you, because they're trying to keep all the hoes for themselves. If guys are telling each other, yeah, don't be a simp, bro. Why not? Because you don't want your girl to feel loved and appreciated, secure. Sounds like a him problem. So dudes, simple way. We freaking love it.
Do you hear this bullshit? That's where the 304s are at. Women love simps. Guys, they're so afraid of losing their power All right, and you have men who are so foolish they would listen to this garbage where they should worship women, put women on a pedestal, and if you worship her and put her on this pedestal and give her attention that she has not earned and things that she has not earned, she's going to love you more. If you obsess over her, she's going to love you more. A woman wants a man who obsesses over her. A woman wants a man who puts her on a pedestal. A woman wants a man who treats her like a goddess. That is the easiest way to be taken advantage of by a woman and to also turn off a woman. These are, guys, this is, and simps will listen to this garbage. This is why so many men despise simps. And like I've told you, simps have their own agenda. A simp will betray you, as most simps are Judases. You have to be very careful of these motherfuckers.
3 signs your ass a simp. The first thing, you treat the girl like she the best thing that ever happened in your life. Nigga, your life barely started. You put her on a pedestal like a fucking goddess. The second thing, you let her get everything her way. If she disagree with something, you go with it. If she say she wanna do some shit, you go with it. If whatever happened, y'all always do what she wanna do. Stop being a bitch. Third thing, you too clingy. You want all her attention, nigga. You ain't got time for all that shit. As a man, you can't be super clingy, bro. You ever heard of a girl being a simp? Exactly. My next video, I'm gonna show y'all how to fix that shit. Hit that plus.
Gentlemen, today we're going to talk about 10 signs that you might be simping. Now, for those of you who don't know, simping is when a man excessively caters to and prioritizes a woman, often at his own expense. Let's dive into the signs. One of the clear signs of simping is when you're constantly showering a woman with expensive gifts or treating her to lavish outings, all in the hopes of winning her affection. This type of simp has a high rate of going into debt and ending up broke. Simping often blinds men to the red flags in a woman's behavior. If you find yourself overlooking obvious signs of manipulation or toxicity because you're too infatuated to see them, you're definitely simping. This type of simp has a high rate of forgiving infidelity. Are you dropping everything at a moment's notice whenever she calls or texts? If you're always available to her beck and call, neglecting your own priorities and hobbies, you're displaying simp behavior. This type of simp has a high rate of leaving work early or showing up late. Simping thrives on seeking validation from the woman you're pursuing. If you're constantly seeking her validation and approval, fishing for compliments or reassurance, you're falling into the simp trap. Respecting boundaries is crucial in any relationship, but simps often disregard them. If you find yourself crossing her boundaries or tolerating disrespectful behavior just to keep her around, you're simping. This type of simp is more likely to become dangerously obsessed. Simping often involves being overly submissive and passive in a relationship dynamic. If you're always bending over backwards to accommodate her wishes without asserting your own needs and desires, you're a simp. This type of simp has a high rate of being manipulated and run over by women. Are you showering her with constant praises and compliments, regardless of her actions or behavior? Excessive flattery is a classic sign of simping, as you're trying too damn hard to win her favor. This type of simp has a high rate of being placed in the friend zone. Simping often stems from a deep-seated fear of being rejected. If you're terrified of standing up for yourself or risking her disapproval, you're allowing fear to dictate your actions, which is an obvious sign of simping. Ultimately, simping boils down to the lack of self-respect. If you're willing to compromise your values, dignity, and self-worth in the pursuit of a woman's affection, it's time to reevaluate your priorities and regain control of your life. So, in order to refrain from ever being a simp, here is a list of rules to start following. Rule number 1, say no more than yes. Rule number 2, don't use money to gain favor. Rule number 3, prioritize your own well-being and self-respect over others. Rule number 4, make everyone book your time. Rule number 5, give and take, but take first if opportunity arises. Rule number 6, approval from your peers and superiors only matters. Rule number 7, never wait on others. Your time is more valuable. Rule number 8, ensure that everyone you deal with has as much skin in the game as you do. Rule number 9, only give compliments when they are deserving. Rule number 10, personal goals come before relationships. But remember this, fellas, there's nothing wrong with showing genuine affection and respect for women, but simping is a toxic behavior that ultimately undermines your self-respect and dignity. Focus on building yourself up as a high-value man, and the right woman would recognize and appreciate your worth. See you on the next one.
You see, guys, one thing that we have to admit as men is that many of our fathers were simps. That's how our mothers, who really had no business getting with them, were able to trap these men. Many of our fathers got trapped. They were a bunch of simps. And the reality is that as men, we have to understand that most women today have no value to offer a man. That's the reason why they hate soft guy era, because these men are saying, well, you have your own money now, ladies, and we are the prize, so you can bring something to the relationship. And they immediately go into shaming language, all right, sign language, shame, insults, guilt, gaslighting, nagging, because they need to be right. The fact of the matter is that these women don't have any value in Western society. They cannot compete for men. So the only thing that they know is to go back to what they've been doing forever, which is which are specifically the things that have pushed men out of society. Women think that simps are, the answer. They're going to get everything they want from simps. Simps are some nasty creatures. Simps are some very, very nasty motherfuckers. And as soon as shit really hits the fan, a simp is out. Okay? Because simps have their own agenda. Simps are not there to help women. Simps are there to take advantage of the situation. Okay? If you look at Only Fools and Lonely Fans, women on those platforms, they think that they're winning. All right? Most women on Only Fools and Lonely Fans, they only make $150 a month. So they're out there selling their souls and busting it wide open for simps online for a couple of dollars. And then when they realize that now they need to go back to the real world because they'll make way more working at McDonald's than they do on Only Fools and Lonely Fans. They have to go out with it. They have to remember that these disgusting individuals had them doing terrible things for $20. They sold themselves for $20, and the internet is forever. So it's even worse than working as an escort because they could put on a wig and go around and do whatever and just move and no one will know who they are. The internet is forever. Those pictures are going to be there forever. And not only are those pictures going to be there forever online, to make matters worse, they're going to have to, they're reported by Only Fools and Lonely Fans to the IRS. And regardless if they choose to pay taxes or not, the IRS already knows who they are, and it will always be on their records if there's a background check done that they created content on Only Fools. And that's going to stick with a lot of women, and that's going to exclude them from society. And women right now, many of them think that it's cool, but as we're in this era of degeneracy. But as times begin to shift, and they realize that men are moving towards women who have control, self-respect, and ideals, and so forth, and they don't want to be in relationships with women who have all of this garbage on social media, women who've done Only Fools and Lonely Fans, women who've deleted their gestations. Now women who have extremely high body counts, and men are like, we're just going to go overseas and find someone. They're going to find themselves in such despair because of the things that they've done. And that's how they're going to end up in the church. And like I said, the pastor is nothing more than a pimp. The church is just another form of the state. All right. And the pastor, of course, is going to try to use these women to bring men to the church so they can reallocate wealth and resources for men to the church, because men pay 80% of taxes in Western society. So if they pay 80% of all taxes, then obviously they're paying 80% of all tithes as well. Minimum. It's all one money-making operation. It's all one big scheme to take advantage of men, and women are in on it.
It's pretty intriguing. Women seem to believe that men are always going to come back, men are always going to want them, and that men are always going to put up with nonsense, extraordinary amounts of nonsense. And they don't seem to comprehend that the reason why society exists in the way it does today, the reason why women are able to literally gaslight men and play games and do all of the things that they're able to do and get away with, it's not because of the typical man, it's because of the typical simp. But the saddest thing is that women don't understand that the simp is using their lizard brain. The simp has almost no control over themselves because men today know that they're not supposed to behave in certain ways, and yet the simp will not change. I had an interesting discussion on this video where I pointed out to a number of women that, hey, listen, you don't seem to understand that simps are playing a hole is a hole right now. I like to call the boomer generation a hole is a hole boomers, because they were happy to stick their dicks in anything. All right, a hole was a hole for them. And with a lot of simps today, this when it comes to transgendered women, there are a lot of simps who are attracted to transgendered women. You're like, well, what are you talking about? There are a lot of simps. There are a lot of men who are into this type of thing. All right. And women don't seem to understand that. Like, for example, Dylan Mulroney, I don't know if I pronounced his name right. People, they're like, a lot of women are like, oh, he's not good looking. He won't be stealing any heterosexual husbands, that's for sure. Even after his surgery, he still looks very much like a man. These women are like they're in such deep denial. The thing he's look the things he's looking forward to coming to someone who will cook for him while he sits on the couch. If that isn't narcissistic, I don't know what is. There's another one. Oh, pretty sure it won't even exist in 100 years in terms of YouTube. I mean, I'm gonna jump over to this video, okay? And well, more comments on here, and because I want you to see the comments. I want you guys to see the comments. I want you guys to see what's really going on, because a lot of people are just like, oh, this isn't happening. This isn't real. You know, men cannot live without women. It's going to continue on like that forever. I mean, you guys can see the screen right now, right? For someone said, this is an excellent video documentation of total narcissistic psychosis. Either that or Dylan is the king of trolls. Dylan basically is a transgender activist who's been transitioning to being a woman. I'll show you the video in just a moment. And I basically said, these days I don't even know anymore. And someone responded, oh, she's not going to be stealing anyone's husband. She needs the men in the white coats. What has happened to people? And, unfortunately, women don't seem to understand that a lot of these men are into this type of crap. And I responded to her, and people don't necessarily understand how right I am. Like, sadly, Pamela, you're the one who'd be called delusional in today's day and age. Dylan has a bunch of men in his DMs right now telling him how beautiful he is and how much they support him. And trust me, these men want to smash too. This is the society we live in today. And there are people who are just in absolute denial saying, no, that's not true. He's complaining about people, not enough people sliding, not enough men sliding into his DMs. And it's true. Here's what's happening. The kinds of guys he likes aren't sliding into his DMs. The kinds of guys that he wants. But he has men in his DMs. He absolutely does. I'm telling y'all right now. Funky Fist says he won't be stealing any heterosexual husbands. That's for sure. Even after his surgery, he still looks very much like a man. Go your own way today. Nah, there's a ton of simps lining up to smash. All right. And Funky Fist, gay simps maybe. No heterosexual man is lining up for the. People don't understand. A simp is a simp. I said, women cannot differentiate. They cannot comprehend that a simp is a simp. All right, a simp is a simp. Simps are not like normal dudes. Okay, these guys are a lot of simps are some depraved dudes. Like a hole is a hole, especially for the millennial generation, the millennial simp. A hole is a hole. Don't forget who their parents were. They're children of the baby boomers. So for them, a hole is a hole. A lot of y'all don't seem to understand that. A lot of women don't seem to understand that. When they see these guys, when they see these transgender guys, with huge followings, right? And then they're like, "What's going on?" I told y'all these simps will go for anything. A hole is a hole, and they're the ones supporting this shit. This type of thing would never exist if it was not for the support of simps. It's because of simps why society has gone in this direction. Anyway, guys, I want to know what you think. If you agree with me regarding this, if you agree that it's because of simps why society has gone in this direction, it's because of simps why.
I wanted to go on record to say that this might be the hottest I've ever looked and will ever look in my lifetime. And I'm making this video so that in thousands of years, there will be evidence. Is it the dress? It could be the dress. Is it the makeup? Or is it the hair? Because I think it's the extensions. And when I have extensions in, I don't know my name. I don't know where I live. I just know that I love these. And I know that I look like I could steal a husband. But I want to promise you, look me in the eyes. I want to promise you that I would never do that to you.
Well, Dylan Mulvaney is correct about.
Let me tell y'all something. This is Dylan just after doing the face surgery, just after having his face done, all right? And for anyone saying that Dylan does not look like a woman, you've got to be kidding me. All right? After having the face done, Dylan clearly does. There's definitely a big change. All right? There's definitely a big change. And a lot of people are in absolute denial. A lot of men and women are in absolute denial right now, trying to pretend like Dylan does not look like a woman. Okay? Oh, he doesn't look like Dylan. In the early stages, definitely there was a difference. But Dylan is increasingly looking more and more like a woman. Okay? And I'll show you some more of this because people are in denial. People are in denial. Like, oh, I'll never accept that Dylan looks like. Uh, Blair White went through the same thing, and Blair White looks like a woman. Blair White looks like one of the prettiest girls you'll ever see in your entire freaking life. Right? She's talked about it. She's actually talked out against certain things. This is what Dylan looks like now. This is what Dylan looks like now. And how many of you are going to tell me this looks like a man? This looks like a woman. This looks like a woman. It looks like a very pretty woman. Very nice nose, very nice skin tone, beautiful cheeks, nice rounded face, great hair, elegant, long neck. You don't even see the Adam's apple, all right? I don't know what some of y'all are talking about. Some of y'all are like, oh, you're gay. No, bro. He looks like a girl. He really does. He looks like a girl, and he's only getting better. He hasn't had the boob job yet. All right. Once he does the boob job, that's if he does it, I think he probably will. That's going to add another layer to him. All right. He might take out a couple of ribs to make his waist thinner. Okay. And as he's taking his estrogen, that's also going to change the contour of his body. So he's going to end up looking even more feminine. The guy's only 26 years old. So he has time. He has a bit of time. And as these drugs can take over, they're going to change the way his body looks. It's going to change how his butt looks. It's going to change the texture of his body. He's going to even look younger in some ways. I mean, I'm telling you guys, this is how it is. He'll have I don't know if he's going to have the bottom surgery. Maybe he will. That's another thing. And, some people say, well, oh, he's so skinny. That's something that he can work on. He can go and get himself a BBL. He can work on, he can go to the gym and work on his thighs, getting bigger thighs, That's not something that's hard to do. You have to just put in the work. And eventually he will look like a bad bitch. The face is already there. He's coming along. He will look like a bad bitch. And I'm telling y'all right now, these simps, these are a hole is a hole. A hole is a hole, and they're gonna go for it. They're gonna line up and they're gonna go for it. They're gonna take turns and they're gonna be happy with it. All right. This is the generation that we live in, and some of y'all are in denial. All right. Some of y'all are in the complete and utter denial. No simp is maybe a gay simp. Y'all don't understand what a simp is. A simp is a simp. All right. A lot of simps have no standards.
Today's hot take is that being a simp is actually so attractive. Wow, that is really red. Guys will fully bully each other about being a simp. It's genuinely so attractive. And I just don't get why they get bullied for it. It's so attractive, a guy knowing what they want and being obsessed with you and adoring you. That's really attractive. Surely you girls have to agree that a simp is just the best thing ever. Every girl wants a simp.
You see, guys, simping is a path to destruction, and most women today want to destroy most men. It is a very sad reality, but it's a reality that men have to wake up to and fully understand. Because come 2030, half of all women will be childless and single. And, when you factor in the single moms, it's going to be 70 to 90% of women single in the United States. And women were not designed to live without a husband. This idiot was like, oh, I know a bunch of older single women and they're doing great. You don't know how these women are surviving. They will, like I said, women will stay on that hill despite they will do things and live in a way that is counterproductive to their survival, but they don't care because they will go to great lengths to protect their ego and reinforce the terrible things they've done. They will tell other women to do what they've done, even though they're suffering, because misery loves company, just so they can validate the bad decisions that they've made. Versus men, for example, like me, when we mess up, we tell other men, do not do what we've done. Do not do what we've done, all right? Do not make our mistakes. Or, for example, if they see an idiot who's doing something wrong and won't learn his lesson, they'll say, you see that idiot over there? Don't be that guy. All right, you hear me, men? Don't be like that idiot over there. Do you guys agree that, where things are headed for women is going to be an extremely hard place? They're going to be living on the streets. They're going to be living in destitution. They're going to be living in poverty. They're going to be living in shelters. They're going to live in the woods. They're going to be living in their cars. And they're going to find that the simps that they've been talking about, they're not going to come to their rescue. These simps don't have that kind of money. And the simp economy is moving overseas. Let me know your thoughts, and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away. And cheers.